PlanningPod's BEO tool allows users to create a customized banquet event order that can be easily shared with clients, caterers, vendors, and coordinators. First, we're going to head to your account settings to set up the global options for your BEO. Click on your name, choose Settings, and scroll down to Global Setup. Under Banquet Event Order is where you can decide what you want to display on every BEO that you produce in your account. Note that changes made here will populate to all the BEOs within your account, not just those moving forward. Beginning at the upper left corner, you can choose the layout that works best for your organization, 1, 2, or 3 columns. Getting into the body of the BEO, the event info populates from the event that the BEO is assigned to. So the BEO number, event name, date and time, head count, locations, even your contacts and vendors will populate directly from your event. We've added an extra custom item to the event info that talks about the venue arrival. Now, the notes that we have in here will automatically populate into each BEO in every event, but you'll be able to edit these, remove things, answer questions, etc. once you're in the event. You also have the ability to easily grab, drag, and drop the information you have here so that it makes the most sense for you and your organization. For example, linked documents may be something that you don't want right underneath the beverage, and the schedule you may want on the other side or higher up on the list. Just drag and drop so it makes the most sense for your organization. Because no two venues are alike, we know there will be situations where you need to add additional information to a BEO that we haven't thought of. Simply click Add Panel, enter a title for your panel, and then you'll see that you have the opportunity to add one or more fields. In this case, we're going to put this in as Client Requests and add a separate field for Client Confirmations. This could be any kind of information you might need to communicate on a BEO to have right at your fingertips while you're running an event. Once you've created your new panel, you can drag and drop it into place on the BEO. Now, if you wanted to remove a panel, we also allow you to do that. You'll simply click on the down arrow next to any panel, click Disable Panel, and Disable Now. Note that your disabled panels will show up in the side menu, and you can re-enable them whenever you need to. Now that you've perfected your BEO settings, let's hop into an event and look at it in action. From my events dashboard, I'm going to select an event, and you'll see that close to the top of my favorite tools is the Banquet Event Order BEO tool. As I mentioned before, the event info populates from the actual event itself. Things like the event name and description, the date and time, the head count, locations, and more are populating directly from the event. Note that if you can update from this screen. However, any updates you make here are going to update the event as a whole. So changing things like the date, name, head count, or location is actually a universal change. Moving down our screen, you'll see that you can link both contacts and vendors to the BEO. Just because they're assigned to the event does not mean they need to show on the BEO, but they do have to show in the BEO in order to sign the BEO. You can also assign labels to indicate who the client is, the event coordinator, the catering contact, or any other label that's appropriate for your organization. You can link vendors in the same way that we just linked contacts. Now down here is the information that we created in our settings area. You'll notice that we've already updated some of this information, but you can come in and manually update, add, or change any of this and save it. Now, if you want to remove the content you've added and go back to the default, just click Remove Content and then Save. Now you can go in and start fresh. The Room Setup panel is where you'll see any floor plans associated with the event. Clicking Link Floor Plans will bring up an option to select any floor plan associated with this event. If you have not yet created or associated the correct floor plans, you can click on Go to Floor Plans to create a floor plan and link it that way. All of the custom panels work the same, where you can update information as necessary for specific events. Now I want to take some time to look at the schedule. This pulls directly from your itinerary for the event. There are a couple different ways to link items, so let's start with the most obvious one, clicking Link Items. This will bring up every item in your itinerary, and you can go through and check or uncheck those that you want to display. If you're sitting here thinking, that seems a little tedious, you might be right. Depending on the event and how many items, this could take a little bit of time to individually check everything that you want to show up on your BEO. With that in mind, we created an alternative option. This way, if you click Save, let's go ahead and take the other option. By clicking Go to Itinerary, it will pull us into our itinerary tool where we can multi-select everything that we want to add to our BEO. So let's go ahead and select 3, 4, 5 items, and let's use the option on the left to show in BEO. We'll just need to choose to show and click Save. That automatically populates those items to the BEO. With this in mind, realize that you can actually add the items to the BEO as you're adding them to the itinerary to save yourself the extra steps of coming back in from the BEO later. Next up, let's take a look at linked documents. Note that this area will show proposals, invoices, and contracts associated with the event, including some basic information like the total of the proposals, signatures that have been collected, and balance remaining on invoices. It will not, however, show the complete document. If you need to link a proposal, simply click Link Proposal. For invoices, proposals, and contracts, you can actually link them from within the document. You'll see that at the top of each, it gives you the option to link to a BEO, or in this case, remove the BEO link if you don't want it to display. Back in our BEO, let's take a quick look at the food and beverage packages. Under the Food panel, you'll see that you can click Link Packages in order to access anything that you've created in the food and beverage area. If you don't see what you need included here, you can close out of this and click Go to Food/Beverage to add that information into the event. While the Special Requirements area is something that we added as a custom field, this is a great way to note things like special dietary needs, allergies, or other important things that go along with the food or beverage service at an event. Use Link Packages under the Beverage panel to link any beverage packages associated with the event. If you don't see what you need, click Save, go to Food and Beverage to add additional information. Continuing to scroll down this event's BEO, you'll see that we have a couple custom panels that we can update with information specific to this client or event, anything that it needs to be known by your staff or you on the day of the event. Once we've completed all of the information here, updated everything, you'll see that we can start collecting signatures on this. For those of you who need to have approval or sign-offs from caterers, contacts, clients, anyone else, you can collect signature via email or you can collect it in person. Whether signing in person or via the link that comes in an email, you'll see the same thing in the BEO. You'll simply complete the digital signature process, sign your name, and click I agree. Once this is signed, it will automatically generate an email to all parties that are required to sign this with the most up-to-date signed version of the BEO. You'll see that you can also download the BEO right from that screen after you have signed. Now, we know these BEOs are working documents, so we've given you the ability to come into your BEO after a signature has been collected, remove it without removing the history of that signature, and then collect new signatures based on the new information that you've populated into the BEO. Now that you've mastered the BEO, let's talk about streamlining the process. As you're building out your event, you can link to the BEO in the process. So in the invoices, we'll go ahead and create our invoice, and we'll use the Link to BEO button to quickly link this to the BEO as we're building out our invoice. Likewise, we can click into the contracts, connect our contract, and click Link to BEO within the Contracts tool. And I probably sound like a broken record, but likewise in the proposals, we can go ahead and create a proposal and click to link that to our BEO as well. Within your floor plans, it will give you the option to do the same right at the top. Last, you can click into the food and beverage and add those items to display on your BEO as you're creating the packages in PlanningPod. Thanks for taking the time to learn a little bit more about the BEO tools in PlanningPod today. Should you need more information, be sure to visit us at support.planningpod.com or on YouTube at youtube.com/planningpod.